Welcome to a very special edition of It's All Relative. I'm Josh.
And I'm Angela.
And today we're joined by two guests who will be helping us debate and decide who is the most well-known wrestler from past to present. We'll also debate on who had or has the biggest impact on women's wrestling and who may be the top in women's wrestling worldwide. So get your choices picked, turn it up, and let's get it rolling with an all-new episode right here on the It's All Relative podcast. Angela, thanks for being here.
No problem. Thank you for having me, as always.
Always. How have you been?
Pretty good. Summertime, so just kind of relaxing and try not to do too much, you know?
Pool time?
Yep, pool time.
Awesome. It's been hot.
It has been.
Big news for the It's All Relative brand, the It's All Relative show, the studio. But we are now able to have multiple guests on at once.
Yes.
For shows now in the future, which is very exciting. So let's get them on. Making their return to It's All Relative. First, welcome back, Travis Lake.
Hey, how's it going? Excited to do this.
Awesome. And welcome back, Cody Wood.
Hi, how are you?
Cody.
Thank you both for giving us some of your time and deciding to come back. We both, Angela and I, appreciate that.
Definitely.
Travis, you were last here in October of 2022 for episode 45, Is Hollywood's Game Real?
It's been that long?
May I ask, have you listened to the last episode completely, or?
Which episode?
Was it the very last one, right?
Yeah.
The submersible?
I have not.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, Travis and I did kind of mention this, but what did you think about the response from the show, Travis? Do you know any, or have you heard any responses, or did you see any responses?
No. But that I haven't really looked.
Okay. So you remember the episode that we did about the game?
Yeah.
And the person that we were talking about, his name was Tim Chismore, he's a famous comedian, actor, a bunch of different things.
Game player.
Game player. He contacted us after the show on Apple Podcasts, the review thing, and on YouTube, and basically saying that he listened to the show and he insists that the game is real. And so I just thought that was really cool. I wanted to share that with you.
I bet he didn't like me very much.
Yeah.
Well, we were a little confused in the beginning.
It was a little confusing. I will say that, but I mean, I think the subject or the main topic of what we were trying to portray was
Eventually we got there.
Right. But how have you been since the last time we've seen you, bro? Everything good?
Yeah, I've been all right.
Good. How's the book writing going?
Good. I just finished another book. I'm in the process of the second edit. And then depending on how that goes, I might do another one, or I might start sending it out to publishers. And I'm working on another one right now, too.
Awesome. Good for you. Can we get a name of the title? Or?
The one that I just finished is called The Gorg. And
okay.
It's a silly name with a silly monster in it, but it's fun.
Right on. I was going to say, what is a Gorg? Or have you
it's a made-up word that's been in. I mean, it's been
I've
in
heard
different
of it
things,
many times.
Yeah, literature and TV
you would think
shows.
Almost troll-like, I want to say.
Yeah, I got it from Fraggle Rock, so
right on.
That tells you all you need to know.
All right, all right. And Cody,
yo,
you were last here in March of 2022, so we've been longer. For episode 32, which was another wrestling-themed show. How have you been since the last time you were here, bro?
Oh, not too bad, hanging in there as best I can.
The last time you were here, things were a little different with the people who were involved with the show. Mm-hmm. I don't think Angela was a part of the show yet when you were here. So.
Nope, not yet.
Yep, so this is a little different, but like I said, I'm glad that you both are here.
Yeah, man, glad to be back.
Yeah, thank you, bro. So, you guys ready to get this fatal four-way going?
Oh,
Yeah.
All right. I think we should also, once we start, maybe I don't know who we should have go first and have their, maybe Angela. I'm not sure. I don't know how you guys feel, but I just want to reiterate, like, this show, I feel like I wanted it directed kind of towards people who may not necessarily know or be into wrestling as much. I didn't want it too much themed wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
so you want it like we're talking to Angela?
Yeah, so exactly. So we're talking to Ange because Ange knows nothing about
Yeah,
wrestling.
we're going to teach you some stuff today.
I did used to watch it here and there in the 80s, maybe early 90s. I do have brothers, but never really got into it. So everything you say is going to be new to my ears.
Well, you going to learn today.
And I'll do my best to contribute what I do know, which is little, but I do have a couple questions, so that's always good.
Yeah, well, I mean, essentially what I want is you guys to think, like, when people hear the word wrestling, who comes to mind first, right? So, who is the most well-known wrestler in the world? This is kind of more, I guess, opinionated.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, who wants to go first? And, let us know who your pick is and why. Because I'm sure that we're all going to have
All right, I'll go
comments
first.
and debates.
Very
and
similar ideas, and
we will see. So, I don't know. Let's get this shit rolling. Let's have some fun.
All right, so I would say Hulk Hogan just because he was always, for me, like I said, I watched it back in the 80s, early 90s, here and there. He was always the one. My brother was very into him. He had the Hulk Hogan doll.
the
figurine.
wrestling buddies, the plush ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but decent size.
Those
one.
are great.
It was fun. So that would be my pick because to me, he's the most well known. And I mean, if I could pick, no, I'll just stick with the one.
And he
good
did
pick.
have a
It's a good
little
pick.
bit of an acting career too. So
Hulk did.
Yeah. He did movies. He had that stupid show.
Yeah, I remember having a few things.
Thunder in Paradise. You're talking
But
about
I
with
didn't
the
think
boat?
it really.
No, I was talking about the reality show.
Oh.
Hogan Knows Best.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I
That's why I said that
forgot
stupid
about
show.
that
Like,
one.
I like some of his
Totally.
movies.
No,
forgot
he had
about
a-
that
Who
one.
can
Yeah.
forget Thunder Lips?
There was a movie he did. I think it was called Mr. Nanny too.
Yeah.
Really early '90s stuff,
Huh? That one I haven't seen, heard of.
But
Was he like Suburban Commando too? Was that him?
maybe.
Am I the only one who knows that movie?
Yeah. I don't
No,
know
it
what that is.
sounds familiar.
Well, Angela, let me ask you real quick. Was there anything in particular that stood out to you about Hogan? What, like,
He yelled a lot.
he yelled a lot.
Like he was.
Well, he had a hearing problem. He was always trying to
He was
hear the audience.
He was
yeah.
hulking up.
Yeah, the whole. Yeah, he was just. Oh. That's what I remember.
Okay.
It's a good pick. He's still iconic to this day.
Calls everybody brother.
But I mean, he's a little iconic now for the wrong reasons. But
Yeah, that is true. I mean, Travis, then let's shift over to you, bro. Go ahead.
I was going to go with Hulk Hogan.
Were you?
Yes.
Good job, Angela.
I asked my children if they knew certain wrestlers, and if they did, I was like, well, then it's definitely recognizable if these children know who they are.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
And my kids would have been like, no.
That is a good idea. I mean, I kind of, once we get to me, I
'Cause-
kind of did a similar tactic as well.
The question is most recognizable, not the greatest wrestler in the world or anything like that, just recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
So I did plan other picks. I guess because I can't go with Hulk Hogan. I'm going to go with The Undertaker.
Oh, I forgot.
Iconic look. Everybody's heard of him, even if you don't know necessarily what he looks like. But then once you see him, you're like, oh yeah, that's The Undertaker.
Everybody does the eye roll.
Yeah, everybody knows it. Non-wrestling fans, you just were like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
so
like,
even you
that's
know who
right,
he
he's
is.
right.
You know, so
That's a great pick,
Yeah.
bro. I mean, Undertaker did have a few movie roles as well, I think.
he
back
did,
in
and he's
the
been on
day.
some TV appearances and things like that.
Yeah. But no, that was a good pick. I do feel like both of your choices were good.
I feel bad because it's a little obvious.
How so?
and-
Yours? Or
Well, both really, and I feel like I could say that since Hulk was my first pick. They're kind of obvious answers. I feel in a way.
Well, no, it's talking
I like
about
the- I like
the
the-
most recognizable.
Yeah, but I like to
Anybody-
push myself and challenge myself. You'll see when we get to the women question.
All right, so go ahead, Cody. Who are you thinking? Who is the most recognizable wrestler and why?
Well, just like, growing up a wrestling fan, I didn't really know a whole lot of people that really were wrestling fans, but they still knew who they were.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like, I could think of like 3 or 4 that just come to mind that people like just know like right off the bat. And one I'm probably going to say, because nobody said it yet, I'm a little biased, so I'm not going to say it right off the bat because we're talking the most recognizable. But I'd probably say it's got to be, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Just because he's had such a big, like, over-the-top wrestling career, many feuds with many huge names. Anybody in wrestling, you hear music hit, you hear his name, and then even outside of that, little kids know who Dwayne Johnson is. Adults know who Dwayne Johnson is.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
See, that's my problem with that pick, though.
That.
So little kids know who Dwayne Johnson is, and people know who Dwayne Johnson is. But do those little kids know The Rock? I'm sure there's a whole generation of children who don't even know he was a wrestler.
Okay, I guess.
He was a wrestler for 8 years. He's been an actor for 12. He's more an actor than he is a wrestler.
At this point, true.
Well, we're talking about right now.
But he started in wrestling.
Well, he was in football before that. Is he a recognizable football player? I said I was going to make this a debate.
That's all right, and I like it. I like it, but no, I guess you're right at that angle. Like, kids really just know him as an actor.
I'm sure there are some who know, but I think when you look at him, people think actor now.
But he still does things that like kind of link back to it. He's still hitting that eyebrow up.
Well, those are Easter eggs for fans who grew up watching him or knew or loved, not even just grew up, but watched him back in the day.
Still makes him recognizable as a wrestler, though, right? Because that was what he did as a wrestler.
But not the people who didn't watch the show.
Okay, I did have a backup to it though, but do you
want? I don't have to dig into your backup just because I'm arguing with you.
I was gonna say because it was such a hard debate for me in my head between the two. Talking.
I don't know if you can notice. I planned for someone to say The Rock. That's how I know all this information.
I would have said too. I would have gone out of the 3 choices that you guys have all said. I would have leaned more so towards. I would have said The Rock as well too. But you did make some valid points there, Travis. Although The Rock wasn't my pick, because I will say
he's on my list.
But I would have said.
I hope you don't say my backup.
But more like for the actor.
I hope you don't say.
He made good points. So
he was definitely. I still feel like he is extremely noticeable or recognizable. Excuse me, and. Because of the movies too, as well. Like I agree.
It's like who's the most recognizable wrestler, not like who's the most recognizable person or most recognizable person who's been in wrestling.
Oh, right. But I think that
I messed up.
No, I think that when you see
why I said the wrong one first.
I think
fine. We can go with the other one.
I think when you see The Rock or when people see The Rock, to me, I feel like people see the actor and the wrestler. I
think there's plenty of people who didn't see his wrestling career.
I guess it's all too because I grew up watching wrestling in that period.
Me too. So we're biased.
I'm like an Attitude Era guy. So
that's when we grew up. Yeah.
What was your pick, Josh? Before we find out Cody's second pick,
like I said, I got like 4 that I'm just like.
I have other picks too. If we can go, if you want to go around and talk about more.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna give you guys my pick, and I kind of went at this whole thing kind of in the direction that you, Travis, were going to, because when I came up with the question and I was trying to think of an answer, what I would say, we all have watched wrestling during a certain period or era or time of our lives, right? And those are the wrestlers that we think that it's just been driven into our psyche. Yeah. Those are the ones that we know. Those are the ones that are most popular. Those are the ones that are most famous,
the ones that are
et cetera. Those ones are the most, well known. But you know what? Like, just as with everything, shit evolves. You know what I'm saying? Like, wrestling is changing. The spectators or the fans, whatnot, kids, everything. The kids are the future. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, so who is super well known that the kids know that they love?
I do not like where you're going with this.
I think I know.
that you gotta. All right, so we'll just leave it at that.
I have no idea where you're going with this.
Here is my answer, and I'm ready to hear it from everyone if they ready. Okay, my answer is Logan Paul.
Bro,
never heard of him.
Wait, what?
My answer is.
I envy you, Angela.
My answer is Logan Paul.
Logan Paul.
And here's why. Okay. 23 million subscribers on his YouTube channel. Okay. He's ranked on Forbes' list of highest paid YouTube creators 3 different years. His podcast has over 4 million YouTube subscribers. He's had small roles in TV and film, etc., etc. Yes, he's got a lot of money, but that's what he brings to the WWE. Never mind his skill or talent, which I actually am somewhat impressed with some of his athletic ability and the things that he's done in a short time. Now, just imagine.
Now he's a current.
Imagine him if he were to have a strap on him. How, you know what I'm saying? How popular would he be? He would be all over. Like, he is the most, just off of what I had just read to you, he is one of the most well-known people in the world.
I was going to say maybe 15% know who he is. I know his name. He has a brother. Wasn't one of them boxing?
They both box.
They both.
All I know is that he.
See, I like boxing.
All I know is that he loves this wrestling stuff and that he's doing really well at it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. They made a genius move at Crown Jewel. The main event was Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. I'm sure you all. I don't know if I should say you all, but I'm sure you guys had seen or heard the viral video, the video that went viral from him, what he did. And if you guys haven't or don't remember, and does anyone know what I'm talking about?
In the Crown Jewel match?
Yeah.
The Superman punch?
No. When he jumped from the turnbuckle with the phone recording his entire thing when he did his...
Oh, that, yeah.
Look, fucking incredible viral
that
movie.
Was cool.
I didn't see that.
I need to
Come on, bro.
Do you have more to say? Because I got to get into this. But I want to give you your time.
Yeah, no. That was actually it. I wanted to end it with that viral video. It was genius. You know how many people saw that, and it was
so he did like a selfie video down.
And did like an elbow drop. I think it was
as he jumped off a turnbuckle.
What did he do with the phone when he landed?
It was with him. I guess dropped. Yeah.
And onto somebody though.
Yeah, that's
what,
pretty cool.
Him landing on somebody?
One-handed, like he jumped on the doing a wrestling match.
He jumped off the turnbuckle
onto a table
to the guy on top of Roman, who was laying on the table.
It was like, check this motherfucker.
Yeah,
without dropping it.
It was a cool moment. Okay. Him and Ricochet colliding mid-air in Royal Rumble was sick.
That was when they went body to body, right?
Yeah, that was awesome. But look,
you want to talk about the botched move?
No,
I
don't give anything to botched moves because this is a real life, like I don't want to get into semantics of it's real or if it's fake. But like when you think about like if you go on the guise of like it being a TV show, but it's live and there's no stuntmen and you get one take. So I don't go into botches. Everybody makes mistakes. It's whatever, and they recovered really well, I thought, in that match. My problem with your choice is that it's most recognizable wrestler, not most recognizable celebrity who's dabbling in wrestling at the moment.
He is a wrestler, bro. He just recently signed an extension contract.
He's barely a wrestler.
He's a wrestler for the people listening. That's air quotes when I said wrestler.
That's like Ronda Rousey. She
had a strap.
I will give Ronda.
Recently had a.
Ronda did it full time. I will give Ronda the least of credit for that.
David Arquette had a strap before he became a wrestler.
Well, that was WCW.
But Ronda did it full time.
That's wrestling.
Logan Paul does not do it full time. Admittedly, he states this. He's not. You know, this isn't a I hate Logan Paul thing. It's more against your question because I don't want to go into that. I don't think he's a wrestler. I don't think he counts as a wrestler. He's a celebrity who is wrestling at the moment. If he was doing it full time, I would, okay, I'll have to concede and say, yeah. I just gave credit to Ronda for doing that. But he does 4 matches a year.
For now, I think as the future goes, as he signed this contract extension with WWE, I wait and watch.
If he turns it into a full-time career, then I'll give him the respect that he deserves. And look, I also want to get into. Actually, I'm not going to get into that because it's not the point of the podcast.
Hold on, my fault. I don't mean to cut you off, but I do want to clearly state real quick though that I'm not a fan of Logan Paul or his brother Jake Paul.
I know you're not a fan, but I don't like the choice.
No, I agree. But I'm saying I don't like them. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I had to pick, like, is he a good wrestler? But this isn't about. I'm not.
This isn't about if you personally like them or not. It has nothing to do with that.
Right.
It's just who you think fits the question the best, because
Right. And
I want to. Oh, sorry. Continue.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say. I think that this kid Logan Paul, like, as the future goes with wrestling, I feel we're gonna see.
Yeah,
he is gonna be one of the. Could be the next. Okay, I'm not saying.
Careful there.
I know. Okay, I'm not saying talent wise, but stardom wise, whatever. He could be like.
I have
John Cena's level.
I have a hard time seeing it because he was so well known before he came to wrestling. I feel like he's always going to be known for that.
He's got to step up.
I'd also like to point out that not everybody even knows that he's wrestling. Okay, I was watching the Royal Rumble, and my 13-year-old son came into the room and saw him and went, "Is that Logan Paul?" Shocked to see him wrestling. Now, admittedly, he's not a fan of his, but it's most recognizable. So even people that, I mean, he saw him and he knew who he was, but he doesn't even know he was wrestling. I mean,
but people are finding out now about him because his
he's
dad wrestling
watches
more.
Wrestling.
My backup hasn't been said. Can I say it now?
Yes.
Sure, bro.
Since we're talking about most recognizable, now that it's gone around, the emotion of the land is known. Since we're talking about known as a wrestler for wrestling, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's a good pick.
I
think there's plenty of people who would see him and know who he is.
He's in Tide commercials, and people know who Stone Cold is.
Yeah. He's got his podcast.
Everybody knows what a Stone Cold Stunner is.
That's a really good pick.
I thought
you can go somewhere and say, "Let me get a couple Steve Weisers," and somebody's probably going to be like, "Hey."
Yeah, he broke out big, and especially it was the Attitude Era. That's when it was more mainstream. Not mainstream, but more popular.
But that's like like you hear Undertaker, like you said, you think a wrestler. Hulk Hogan, you think wrestler. I get like what we were saying about like Dwayne Johnson. A lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, the movie star." And Logan Paul, the YouTube star. I'm not even sure. I don't know anything about the guy. But it's like you hear Stone Cold, you can think, yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, even though he's been in movies, you know him as a wrestler.
But his movies were like,
I mean, he had some. I like The Longest Yard.
What movies was he on?
I never saw that one. But I knew he had. He
was in Condemned.
Yeah, that's the one where a bunch of prisoners get sent to an island and they've got to
kill each
other, and a guy films it and makes it a TV show on the internet.
Yeah. He did I think he's been in like supporting roles and other things too.
Probably
Grown Ups.
Because everybody knows Stone Cold.
Grown Ups 2, I think.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't know that. I haven't seen that.
So, Steve Austin is a great pick. I think that he is probably the most, if I had to say, for us, for whatever, I think he is the most recognizable wrestler.
There's so many big names, though.
I had a backup, which was John Cena.
John Cena, or also, if you're just out somewhere and you go and you hear, "Oh yeah,"
Macho Man was another one. Yeah. So how many people do the impression? Maybe they never even saw him wrestle.
Yep. The Macho Man, Randy Savage.
That's good, man.
That's all they'll do. And, everybody's like, "Ah, yeah."
I was also thinking Ric Flair, because there are people who've never seen him wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
So then there might just be people
Andre,
that woo.
That's a really good pick.
That was my second choice.
I don't think there's anybody who would see him and wonder if that's Andre the Giant. They wouldn't. I mean, obviously he's dead now, but like back then, I'm sure everybody knew who he was. Or if you see him on like TV, you know that's him.
Mankind? Maybe not so much.
I don't think the non-audience really knows who he is. I'm sure they know about the Hell in the Cell match.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'd be able to pick him out of a crowd. Mm-hmm.
I still have a problem with the Steve Austin choice.
Oh, you had a problem?
Because
I didn't realize, man.
What's the problem?
I
thought you just said he was the most recognizable.
He is. I think To us, for us. That's why I'm saying. I feel like as future goes and as wrestling continues, same thing, bro. I don't think
it's not about the future. It's about right now. Live in the present, bro.
I don't think people are gonna know and remember who Stone Cold is.
Dude, that's like saying that Bruno Sammartino wasn't
I know who
well
Stone
known
Cold
back
is.
then because it's been so long now.
But for what?
You can't judge it by potential.
Yeah, but then it's
erasure
like
from history.
say like any other sport. Like say if you're like talking about say like baseball or something, and somebody's like, "Oh, Babe Ruth," everybody knows who that is. You know what that sport? Because
What
he's one
else?
of the,
Yeah,
he's
it's
like
been
one
a
of the
really
greats.
long
He's one of the
time.
names held up there. Like you know.
He is one of like I said, for if we want to talk about personal things too, like Stone Cold was one of my favorite wrestlers, like growing up. Like he was, everybody knows when that glass shatters, everybody's ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
People in the audience still do the what chant.
yeah, I know.
What is
They
he?
hear something they don't like. What?
What?
What else is he known for? Like you
What?
said, wrestler. For what are you known for?
That's what he's known for.
Like what else is he known
He
for?
is known for a wrestler. My problem with, I mean, he's still like I said, he's amazing. But this has nothing to do with, I guess, the choice or whatever. I'm just gonna throw it in there though, because like I said, he
'Cause
was
why
one of my
not?
favorites. Yeah, but why not? But he was kind of like a shitty wrestler.
Who?
Stone Cold.
Look,
He was.
go back.
His moveset is trash. I don't care
Hold
what
on.
anyone says. Stunner was one of the greatest finishing moves ever. But besides that,
I'm gonna.
He
Fuck
could,
all
he
that.
could
I'm gonna
work
di-
the
I'm
mic
gonna
though.
dispen-
That's part of being a wrestler. You
I'm
can
going to
work the
defend him a
mic.
bit here. Go back and watch his matches in WCW. Go back and watch his matches in ECW when he was with
Stunning Steve Austin.
Steve
the
Austin.
Hollywood Blondes.
He was forced to change his moveset and his wrestling style after he broke his neck, taking that pile driver from the late great Owen Hart. He had to change it and become more of a brawler because he couldn't do the things he did before. So don't judge his wrestling ability when the man suffered a near fatal accident. And he was a good wrestler, like technical wrestler before that.
right on. I mean, I'm just saying, still presently.
Stone Cold, if you're listening, I got your back.
Hey, I'm just saying too. Like he was one of my favorites. Like I said, I loved him. Like
Oh, yeah.
like I still say, like I think back in the day, I guess he was the first cool redneck that I was introduced to. I thought, you know, all right.
And I mean,
but-
and look, he was just at WrestleMania. He just competed at WrestleMania, just making an appearance, but wrestled. Not last WrestleMania, but I think the one before that.
KO.
Yeah, he fought.
Okay,
He
okay.
fought Kevin Owens.
Okay.
And it was a really good match. And the fact that he can come back and still do that,
Yeah, it was awesome.
you know, it was awesome.
It was awesome. Like I said, I don't want to take anything against or away from him. Like he was, I think he's the most iconic. You know, I think that was a great choice. For me, I was just kind of looking more towards the future
Well, that
and
wasn't the
where
question.
everything's going. And
We can do who has the most potential question here.
Well,
but that's not what you asked.
I know I said past the present.
Who's got the
and
best trajectory?
And that's why
You
I
want to talk
feel
about who's
like
going to be the most recognizable in the future? That would be an interesting conversation.
I would still pick my choice.
Ugh.
And that's why I say, so
Can't.
before we go on break, then let's do Fatal 4. Let's just throw our opinion in on who would win. But first, I guess if the fans are listening, you know, let us know your choices. Let us know who you agree with. Angela picked Hulk Hogan. Travis picked The Undertaker due to Hulk being taken. Cody picked The Rock and Stone Cold.
Yeah, give him Stone Cold.
No, if you're doing it that way, you got to go with my original.
Nah, you
No,
can
but
take
you-
both
you
because
gave it
Stone.
up.
I guess Stone Cold. We could, you know.
No, it's
he's
okay.
on
I
top.
could take the
It's fine.
criticism I got on the Rock. That was
Josh's
my-
pick was the worst.
And
anyway,
Logan.
so it's okay.
and Logan Paul. So who's gonna win in that Fatal 4-way?
So you mean like an actual match
Yeah, let's just
today?
sure. Everybody in their
Okay.
prime.
See, okay. Oh, in their prime.
Yeah,
okay. Because I was
everybody
going to
in their
say, we got 3 retired wrestlers and 1 active. All right, in their prime. What are we talking about here? Are we talking if they
We're
were just
talking about
let
a
loose,
wrestling match.
let loose, and see who wins? Are we talking about who would be booked?
1-on-1.
But like, are we talking about who would win in a fight? Or are we talking about who would be booked to win? Those are different questions.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was going to say, at this day, Logan Paul's booked to win.
Over the Undertaker, he still has prestige.
Okay,
he
I
still
got a
has
stupid
an
idiot
aura
question.
about him.
What's
Okay,
that?
yeah, go ahead.
What's the difference between
He's
book
he's
to
the,
win?
he's the hot guy now. They're
I'm
gonna have the
I'm gonna
old
shock you right
timers.
now, Angela. Wrestling's not real. No, I'm just kidding. It's scripted.
Hey,
Well,
you're
that I
not
knew.
supposed to say that.
That I knew.
Dude, kayfabe's been broken for years.
I did watch it. I know it's fake.
Yeah,
But
no, what I mean
so
by that is like if it was a real fight, who would win, or who would be?
Or who
once
would
again, when I
win
say real
in
fight,
the
I mean
show.
non-scripted. I don't want people getting mad. It's very. I will go into the heavy detail about the against the it's fake conversations. I just want to put that out there. For a non-scripted fight, obviously, is going to be different than a scripted wrestling match. Book to win would be who would the bookers choose to win the match. So it's very different about who could win an actual physical competition between the two and who would be booked to win this wrestling match. And no disrespect to the wrestlers and the athletic ability they put in the ring every time they wrestle. I feel like I might piss people off with my it's not real comments.
You're right. It's like I got opinions on both sides of that.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, who's booked, and then if it was like who would actually.
Yeah.
Let's avoid the booking. Let's just say let's let them fight.
Look, Undertaker was a legit tough guy back in the day. You're saying in his prime, he was a legit, real tough guy. The American badass persona of him is more in line with who he really is as a person. So I think he would fuck Logan Paul up.
That's my least favorite version of him too.
I love the American badass.
I agree though. Too.
I like that they changed it up. I gave him credit for that.
I mean, I'll be the first one to say too. I don't think Logan Paul is going to win on any of the other choices. So
I thought you were saying he was going to win.
No. I'm saying.
Okay, good.
I agree.
All right.
I still say fuck all you guys. He was my pick from the beginning. But
so a legitimate real match.
But a legit real match, he ain't gonna win.
I don't know. Stone Cold in his prime.
No. We can't. Have Stone
It's
Cold
The Rock.
Oh, it's The Rock.
Yeah. Yep, The Rock.
Let's keep The Rock because
I think the Undertaker would fuck up The Rock too. I don't think he was a real fighter. I mean, he's got that Samoan blood in him, but he was flash. He was entertainment. He wasn't a fighter. And in his real life, I mean, what do you count? Oh, here we go. What do you count as his prime? Right now, where he's as big as a mountain?
No.
Or back when he was a wrestler?
No, wrestler.
Okay.
Wrestler.
So Undertaker would fuck him up.
We're saying like when if he's doing movies, it's still like the rundown, early days. He's still got hair.
I still think the Undertaker would win in a fight. And same goes for Hogan. I don't think Hogan was really much of a tough guy in real life. And this is not taking away anything from their characters or their wrestling abilities. This is just who would win in an actual fight. And I think Undertaker was the baddest of them all. So
yeah, Hogan's moveset and everything else sucked too. If you want to
say who would probably do the best in a wrestling match or something, because I'm trying to separate the question in my head, but I'll still stand.
Taker's a good choice. I mean, I would go back and forth between The Rock or Taker.
I'd probably say what I would hope for would be a time draw. Nobody wins. But what I would
come on,
WWE doesn't do that.
No, but I'm saying that's what I want.
Where's the fun in that?
But I think The Rock because he had that energy. He was electrified, and he the people get behind him, and he just powers up. But then it's hard. So does Hulk. He hulks up,
and Undertaker will just sit up off the mat.
And it's. But yeah, Logan Paul,
he'll be done.
The start of the match, the three of them are going to look at each other. Hogan, the Undertaker, The Rock. They're going to look at each other, look at him, and they're just going to turn him into mashed potatoes and dump him out of the ring. They're going to be like, "Who is this clown?"
I will say he'll do some cool shit in that match. He will do something awesome. But it will be him going through a table and he'll be out of the match. They'd
yoke him up and he'd be out of the match for a good 15, 20 minutes outside dead, but then all of a sudden he's off the top rope somewhere.
Yeah. I will also say that Undertaker had a real aura about him where he didn't lose a whole lot.
Yeah.
Mm. So whereas neither did Hogan though. Hogan notoriously refused to lose. Yeah. So
The Rock however, he could take a loss though.
Rock didn't. Yeah, Rock had a good from what I read and stuff. He had a good attitude backstage with things like that. Mm-hmm. He did not mind taking a loss, and he could take one. So I feel like that would mean he would take the loss. See, if it had been my other question about the booking thing, it would be Hogan 100%. Because Hogan would throw a temper tantrum and cry if he wasn't going to win that match and politic backstage. So I would have to go with Hogan.
Right on.
And Undertaker also has no problems with taking a loss either. So
right on. All right, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll debate on who's had the biggest impact on women's wrestling and who's at the top in women's wrestling worldwide. So make sure you come back with us right here on the It's All Relative podcast.
Boom in the game now, shit's the same now. Explode next mode, I'm the same how. Don't say you know me, just say you did. When you see me sliding off to another crib. Boom in the game now, I'm the same how. The rap game will never be the same now. Don't say you know me, just say you did. And when you hear YO, say that's that shit.
Welcome back to It's All Relative. Still with me in studio, Travis Lake.
What's up?
And Cody Wood.
How you doing?
All right, let's get back in the ring. Female wrestler, who's had the biggest impact on the sport? So let's simply, actually, before you guys give your answers, I just wanted to quickly state and mention that we have done wrestling episodes in the past, but we've never had a section or a portion dedicated or directly towards women's wrestling, which I think is important to talk about, and to talk about the growth and how far it's come. And I feel like the question that we're going to debate right now is super important and has everything to do with how far female wrestling has come. So with that being said, the who and the why, who do you guys got? We'll start with Angela. Most impactful women's wrestler to you.
So I mean, like, I don't really watch it so much, but the two that I remember the most was China and Flair. I think Flair.
Stratus. Trish Stratus.
I'm thinking Ric Flair. He's so funny.
Well, there is Charlotte Flair, so
it's true. So anyway,
You're too
Trish.
far off.
Those were the two that I think. At least the two that I remember, the first two that I remember is, I guess, what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if they were, some of the first female wrestlers to do it. So I don't really know how it came about, but
I thought of them as well as other guesses.
Both have had, and one currently has, a very strong wrestling career. They both have set many records and whatnot, both in their own ways. China, I mean, we did talk about this off mic. I mean, you guys know, I'm sure, her story. Either of you guys want to
I have a few things to say. I could say about China with respect.
Go ahead, real quick.
I don't feel like China made like a huge impact. I mean, she was in the company for like 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And there are things that she definitely did. She did impact a lot of different things, but I don't think she had the biggest impact. I'm not saying she didn't do anything. She definitely was there to, help be women's wrestling, taken more seriously. But I think she was there more for showing that women could be just as good as men, and less about that women's wrestling could be good, because she was more about, I think her biggest time, what people more know her for, is like her feud with Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental title, things like that. So I don't know how much she contributed to the other aspects of helping women wrestling. She definitely did in that sense.
Well, right.
Of women being able to take seriously fighting men, which you see everywhere else. You see on the indies, they do it.
Now.
It's just televised. You can't really do that.
Right now, I think that was a huge trend center back then when you referred to her fighting males or Chris Jericho, what have you.
She definitely was.
That was huge. That was huge from women's wrestling.
But it wasn't women fighting women. She did. She was women's champion. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the bigger aspects of what she did were women being taken seriously wrestling men. Because I feel like that was just a stronger point of her career. Also, another biggest moment of her career was with Eddie Guerrero.
Winning the Intercontinental, being the first female, I believe, to win the Intercontinental belt.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying she wasn't impressive.
Right. What do you think?
I also think maybe her history is a little tainted by some of the choices she made afterwards, which I hate to say, because we're all human. We all make choices,
We all make mistakes.
But unfortunately, when certain people look at things, That's why they kept her out of the Hall of Fame for so long.
Yeah, they didn't want to. They didn't want kids like searching her name and then that stuff's coming up.
Yeah, for searching Triple H and seeing him in a necrophilia bit. That's okay.
Well, you know, like we said, to each his own. Everyone makes their decisions and does what they do for, you know, for their own reasons, whatever, what have you. I disagree with how long WWE held her out of the Hall of Fame. I think she was huge.
I mean, that's a direct quote from Triple H, what he said. That they didn't want kids Googling her name and seeing
I know that.
What she did after.
I know that
he said that. Those were his words, a direct quote.
Yeah, I know that
because she, after wrestling, she started doing adult films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is her decision.
Right.
You know, she's fine. She's a woman. You know, she's an adult. She can make her own decisions. It's fine. Unfortunately, when you look at the eyes through someone like him or someone, a businessman or things like that, unfortunately, it looks bad and it can hurt your legacy, which is stupid. But
right. Well, I mean, she did go down somewhat of a dark path with decisions and drugs and the mixture and the combination of everything. You know, and unfortunately,
not the greatest role model, but. I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, unfortunately, she is no longer here.
I also do think she was kind of pushed out of the WWE due to the Triple H and Stephanie McMahon situation.
I agree. I
think
I can see that
pushed her
too.
out after that.
I know Triple H and her had a history.
Okay, they're not listening.
As well.
Or are they?
That'd be awesome. I don't care.
Do either of you guys want to touch on Angela's second? Trish.
All right.
Real quick.
I mean, she's definitely impactful, but like, I think she impacted the idea that any woman with the right like dedication and training and skill can move beyond just being like a sexy valet. You know, they don't have to just be, you know, tits and ass. They can actually wrestle. I think that's what she really impacted to the business. Which, you know, that is a really valid point. It's definitely one aspect of it. But I mean, there was a lot of like still things that happened during her career, which is, you know, horrible that they treated her that way. So like that kind of makes it look bad. I mean, she's on a return now, which is cool. But I don't know. I don't know how it impacts the entire. I mean, because also if you're going to say that she impacted women actually wrestling more, that is true. But around that time period, there was other women who were also helping it. You know, Lita always has to go in hand with Trish, and women still weren't 100% taken seriously after that. It wasn't really until the Four Horsewomen that, not of the MMA, of WWE, that they started to take wrestling, you know, women wrestling more seriously on a technical sense, you know, and showcasing it, you know. So I don't know how much she impacted that, because like there was still a lot of, you know, other stuff going on after her time. Right. I mean, look at how Lita originally left.
Cody, you want to slide in real quick and have anything to say about Trish? You agree? Or, I mean, Chyna. I mean, out of those two, I would say Chyna had more of an impact.
I was going to say Chyna was probably one of the ones I was thinking about, you know, just because, one, she was a freaking powerhouse, you know, and like with the, what was it, the Intercontinental title you were saying before, she won that off of Chris Jericho, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, she could hang with the boys too, but
not if you ask Chris Jericho.
Well, or you know, but so she was one of them that I was thinking of. But one of my all-time favorites too has always been, and Josh, I know you know her and you know this, has always been Asuka. You know, she may not have been like a super big jacked, you know, say like Chyna was, but she could be a killer when she needed to be, you know. And even when she was in Japan, she had like an Iron Man match with a guy, you know, and hung in, and it was brutal. just even if it wasn't against a woman, if it was another guy, it would have still been just as brutal on that level.
Dope.
Is that your pick?
That
that's a really good pick.
She's always been one of my favorites.
Her work in Japan is incredible. I loved her stuff in NXT.
Asuka in NXT, Kana before that when she was in Japan.
Great, yeah.
But I think she's been one of my favorites since like right off the gate when I seen her.
I would definitely say she has, I think, had the biggest impact on WWE showcasing more Japanese women and even women. She's not the pioneer for other things, but I do think because of her, they want to showcase more Japanese women. Like Kairi Sane was there. They got Io Sky now, and I think she definitely opened the door for that for them to be taken more seriously, which is great. I just wish they would take her more seriously.
I believe currently does she have a belt?
She's
the champ?
She's the SmackDown Women's Champion.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, SmackDown Women's Champion.
I thought she was holding the belt.
They did the draft. I can't remember.
Yeah, and you're right. I agree. She was definitely a killer back when she was in New Japan. I agree with what you said, Travis, and I think Cody, you and I have talked about this too. But I don't necessarily agree with how she's been portrayed or kind of like her role or whatever.
She's been booked terribly.
Yeah, and I feel like it's always been like that. Even though when she has belts she's a champ, she
was booked really well in NXT.
But she was very
she had against Nikki Cross.
Yeah, her whole feud. They did the Last Man Standing match. That was great. She never lost in NXT. She never lost.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, Travis, do you want to?
What do you have? Do you know who Asuka is? Do you have anything to say?
No, I'm just listening.
Okay, I didn't want to leave you out. You know.
No, you're good.
Travis, you want to hit us with your
here we go.
decision?
All right. So when I had to look at the question of who like most impactful with the biggest impact, I'm diving into specifics of everybody's choices for a reason because I feel like I really had to think about this to pick someone who really impacted women's wrestling as a whole. Apologize. And I went really far back to Mildred Burke.
Who the fuck is that?
So Mildred Burke was started wrestling in 1935 when she was about 19 or 20 years old. And she approached promoter Billy Wolf for him to train her, and he didn't want to. So as to discourage her, he had one of his male wrestlers slam her, like on the mat, in the ring, whatever. But she stopped it, and then she slammed him. So then took her, decided to train her and promote her. And they started doing, this is a long story, I'm sorry guys. No. He started doing the carnival circuit. And he came up with the idea that anybody at the carnival, any man, could pay $25 to try to pin Mildred in under 10 minutes. No one ever did. She was the NWA Women's Champion for over 20 years. She beat 150 men and 5,000 women in her career and lost once. And that was because of a screw job after her ex-husband, Billy Wolf, was trying to destroy her name. This was a screw job way before Brett and Shawn, before Moolah and Richter. That's the only time she ever lost. And he started to, when she divorced him, he blacklisted her from the NWA. He was slandering her name. He destroyed this promotion she was trying to do. But then she started the Women's World Wrestling, association. And she inspired the likes of Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young. The Japanese arm of her promotion, All Japan Women's Wrestling. I'm sorry if I'm getting the names wrong. Featured legendary wrestlers like Bull Nakano and Asia Kong, and Awesome Kong for the WWE purists. That's Karma.
Yep.
And I'm going to butcher this name. I apologize. Manami Toyota. You know, legendary wrestlers that really changed women's wrestling and brought it to what it is. You know, in either the Japanese arm or in her own company, or I mean the other promotion, the American one. You know, she impacted women's wrestling as a complete whole. We probably wouldn't even have women's wrestling if it wasn't for her. And that's why I went really far back to find someone that could, you know, impacted the whole thing, you know.
Yeah, I like the idea of going so far back in history because, once again, when you mentioned that name, I was clueless.
Yeah, and I just wanted to be different.
No, that's cool, bro. Like, it's always...
I want to change my answer to that because that's a cool story. I like that.
Thank you.
Well,
That's
I
a good
mean...
one.
I was really nervous, though, in that story.
Yeah, no, even after that...
I like it. That's inspirational. I don't know why.
Yeah, even after that...
Oh, I also didn't mention she outlived her ex-husband. I'm sure people would enjoy that.
Nice, yeah. That's the ultimate karma. But no, that was a really good choice. I mean, you can't really argue with history. And going back, I guess, that far and seeing what she accomplished, it kind of does, like, I mean, it makes my choice, I don't know, now I'm a little nervous to mention mine. But no, that was a good choice, Travis. I didn't even thank you for that.
And what was her last name?
Burke. Although her real last name was Bliss. Which I thought was funny. Because of Alexa Bliss. But that's not Alexa Bliss's real last name. So.
Okay. All right, so, I mean, let me just slide in then real quick with my choice. And then we can hear what everyone has to say about it. Because... the person that I chose, I feel, had an impact on women's wrestling, but for a very short time. She wasn't a wrestler for super long, and I don't even know why.
It's not about longevity, it's about the impact we made, even if it was a short time.
And I feel I may have just chosen this, or this may be my choice just because, like, I love this chick, bro. But my choice was Saraya, or formerly known as Paige. And my reasons why, simply, she started wrestling at the age of 13. She was a two-time and the youngest WWE Divas champ and NXT Women's champ. She's the only woman to ever hold both Divas and NXT championships simultaneously. She won the WWE Divas Championship at the age of 21. So once again, a child. You know what I'm saying? Her neck injuries made her retire at 25. So 4 years. She accomplished, though, a lot. She did, we mentioned China. She did get caught up in some things and, you know, had some things happen, made some decisions and whatnot, but
we got to see her in Poughkeepsie during them rough times, didn't we?
We did. I still have pictures of that on my phone. I do like to mention to people when we talk about that, it was cool when we got to see her because it was like, you know, meeting. I think I've mentioned this before, but it was like meeting a famous wrestler, you know what I'm saying, and meeting an adult film star at the same time.
Oh, come on.
But I was just saying.
No, that's...
I know, it wasn't her.
That's fucked up.
It wasn't her fault. It was
she
the
didn't,
person
she didn't put
that,
it out there.
I know.
Was it a leaked tape?
Among other
stuff.
things that she was sending to, you know, her boyfriend, I guess, and it got, you know, leaked out, and that's not her fault. She's an adult. She can do what she wants.
I agree with that.
But shit got out. So, but I mean, September 2022, she signed with AEW and currently has been cleared to wrestle. In that time period, she has had a match or two. She doesn't wrestle very often.
She's had a couple more matches.
But she's had a movie made about her life, which I don't know if any of you guys have seen.
Fighting with My Family.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
What's it called?
Fighting with My Family.
It is a good movie.
And it stars Florence Pugh before she got big.
I was gonna say I haven't seen it, but I like Nick Frost.
Oh yeah. Nick Frost is great. You can't go wrong with him. He plays her dad.
Yeah, no, that was a good movie. I recommend it
I
to
enjoyed
any wrestling
Vince
fan.
Vaughn was in it. He was good.
Any wrestling fan who enjoys that stuff. I mean, it's the story about her. You know what I'm saying? And it was good. But I mean, I don't know. Anybody have any disputes with?
Well, once again, I feel like Paige is actually, I think, a really good answer because she didn't just bridge the gap for women to be taken seriously in a different way. She did. She showcased that they don't all have to be blonde supermodels. It can be, you know, the weird emo chick who can wrestle really well. And she also helped them to take the actual wrestling aspect of it better, to actually focus on that and not just what they look like and, you know, doing bra and panty matches and crap like that. Actually taking women more seriously. She did help that, and she definitely was a pioneer. At that time, her and AJ Lee, I think, were the pioneers of moving wrestling along. So I think that's a really good answer.
Yes, thank you. She broke the statistic of the whole, the quote-unquote divas in that era. Of
she helped it change to what it is now.
Exactly. So, huge impact, I believe, on women's wrestling. Once again, fans, you can let us know what your choice was or if you agree with any of our choices. You guys quickly want to say if those four were to have a match again, who's coming out?
At their prime?
Second.
Sure.
I'm home with that Mildred chick.
No, you can't do that. That was Travis.
That was so cool, though. That was a great story.
The question is who would win in a fight. That's a different question. You don't have to just argue your answer.
Right.
You know?
Well, I'm not. So who would win?
I mean, how many men did she take out in 150?
150 men and 5,000 women.
Please.
And she lost once, and it was because she got screwed out of it.
That bitch is taking anybody down. At her prime.
She never faced Asuka.
I'm going with Miss Mildred.
I was waiting for something like that.
It'd definitely be a good match. Asuka is really good.
Yeah.
And Paige at her, we're going with Paige. Saraya.
Yeah, I knew
her prime. I would say was when in WWE as Paige.
Yes,
that was at her prime because now she's returning from neck injury. She can't wrestle as well as she did before. Mm-hmm. But she was also really good, and she wrestled in a way that people didn't really see women wrestle all the time. Asuka also does that as well. You know, I don't think I've seen women do strong style before, so that's really cool. Because I don't watch a lot of Japanese wrestling. Mildred Burke, unfortunately, she's got the stats, but unfortunately I've never been able to see her wrestle, so I don't know. She's got the stats, though.
All right, yeah, I guess if we're going to go off stats and whatnot, I don't know. I guess we got to give it to Travis's pick. But you guys quickly want to touch the other question or give a quick opinion? Don't really have to.
Yeah, sure.
We don't have to say why, but I mean...
What was this?
A female wrestler who is on, top tier, top in the world currently, or no, I can't say anything else because that would be a different question. But you want to go with currently?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good with that.
And anybody, your opinion. This is strictly an opinion thing, and you don't even have to say why. But give me anybody want to. We don't have to go in order.
I don't know if she still holds a belt, but Alexis Bliss, she's currently...
She's out. She's pregnant.
Oh.
Yes.
So, but she has held belts. I'm sure her career is not...
She has. I just don't know if she currently...
Not currently, but I don't think her career is over.
Yeah.
So I would still consider her a current wrestler. She's just not wrestling at the moment. But I'm sure she's going to come back.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not a incorrect answer.
Yeah.
All right, right on. Travis?
Yeah, I didn't put as much thought into this.
You're good.
I literally changed it when we were down here. So I decided to, after we were talking before, maybe combine it with somebody who also has the potential to be a huge star.
Yes. Okay.
I decided to combine the two. When I was trying to think of two separate, I decided to combine the two. So I changed my answer, but I do have some other ideas in my head. Also, I'm going with this idea. I want to preface this because if I had to actually say who was the best women's wrestler, I would have to, like right now, I'd have to dive into Japan. Okay. It would have to be someone from like Stardom or NJPW. It would have to be someone from there because the women's wrestling there is on another elite level.
Okay.
I'm not going to list names because I'll probably butcher them. But just the wrestling there is amazing. But because I haven't seen as much, and I don't know as much about that, so I decided to go with someone just currently that I like, who I think is on the rise, and that's Jamie Hayter.
Good choice. Good choice. I know. I mean, we'll slide right into you, Cody. I know you're a fan of Jamie Hayter.
I was going to say, I'm a big fan of Jamie Hayter, so I could go with that too.
Yeah.
And then also teaming with her too, I was going to say Britt Baker could also be one there. She's incredible. Pretty good on the mic. And then I still think she could use a little in-ring work, but she's damn good. But being with somebody like, your boy, Adam Cole, she could get a lot of good training and a lot of that there. But as like a trajectory, I think she could be a solid big mainstay for a long time.
Her character work is amazing, and there's not a lot of women who I would say have had the Austin 316 moment.
And her a lot of her character is real life. She really is a dentist, so it's cool that she's got that, basically the mandible claw as a finishing move.
But like, well, I can't think of too many women who've had that moment, but I can think of two. Mm-hmm. One of them I would say would have been her because of the Thunder Rosa match.
Mm-hmm.
The lights
incredible
out, lights out match. Yeah, that. And so I think that Britt's a really good pick as well.
Yeah, I agree. That was my pick too. I was going to go Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. I think she's one of the most phenomenal female wrestlers currently, and if we were going to match her or say future as well, she is the future. So I mean, we can leave it at that real quick, but you guys want to quickly, before we wrap it up, you guys want to kind of give an opinion on a best tag team ever, in your opinion?
I have two.
Go ahead, bro.
All right, so I wanted one from the past. I wanted one more from the future that was more of a personal choice for me. So the past, I wanted to go with the British Bulldogs. Mm-hmm. They were like pioneers of the clashing styles that match well. Like Dynamite Kid was that like high flying, high action kind of wrestler, and Davey Boy was the technician, the ground and pound guy. So they kind of pioneered that whole kind of style. They had great chemistry together. Were wrestling different than other people at the time, so they were a great tag team from the past. And I also wanted to include, just for me personally, because of when I was watching wrestling, growing up. So for a more current team, for me was Edge and Christian.
Yeah, those guys. That's a good choice. I used to really enjoy watching them fight. They had actually one of the best tag matches that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was going to say that
looking the Hardy Boys,
the TLC.
No, I think the first ladder match that they ever had, the beginning, first one.
But the three of them?
No.
Oh, because I was going to say, like, if you want to look at, like, not modern day tag wrestling, but some of the highlights, the biggest moments of tag wrestling, I think you got to look at the TLC matches.
Yeah, they were great.
And also, I think the purpose of a tag team, if you're going to break them up, a purpose of the tag team should be to elevate both people. And that doesn't happen all the time in tag teams. One will do really good. One's the Shawn Michaels. One's the Jannetty. But both of them have had great singles careers, both WWE champions. Christian is still going in AEW, pretending to be the TNT champion.
Yeah, he's fun.
Doing some of the best heel work I think he's ever done.
Yep.
So Edge is still going too. I didn't mention Edge is back, and Edge is still wrestling. I think he just fought Grayson Waller, which is cool.
Yep. All right, those are good choices. Angela, do you have?
I don't remember their names, but back in the 80s, there was and I'm probably messing this up, but there was a set of brothers. Am I remembering this correctly?
There were a few. There were a few brothers back then.
Who were? You got a name?
No, that was hoping that there wasn't more than. I was hoping
they were real brothers. They were fake brothers.
No, these were real, like blood.
There was a couple of them
real
too,
blood brothers.
If you heard the name.
Just-
What are you thinking of the Von Erichs?
Just say it, Brett and Owen Hart. That's 90s.
It was probably like, I would say like mid to late 80s, early 90s. Maybe.
What did you say?
The Von Erichs.
I thought, yeah, I was thinking of Von Erichs too. But that's, I don't know, no offense, that's obscure.
Steiner Brothers.
Yeah.
That might,
The Steiner brothers are good.
Were they real brothers?
Yeah.
They are, yeah.
Because
they're brothers.
that name sounds familiar.
And Rick
The
Steiner's son
recliner.
is wrestling right now.
Yep.
Braun Breaker.
Yep. I was just trying to think of other.
They were a good tag
brothers,
team.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was so many
Matt and Jeff.
sets of brothers.
The Hardy
wrestling,
Boys?
I guess.
They're real brothers, Matt and Jeff Hardy.
The
Yeah,
Hardy
but that's
Boys.
not the 80s.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
bringing up other
But
brother teams.
I do remember them.
Okay.
I was gonna say one of my favorite tag teams, another set of brothers, the Lucha Brothers.
Me too.
Yeah,
bro.
I
love
forget sometimes they actually are real brothers. Yeah, they're
Damn good.
incredible.
And
yeah.
even with like individually, they're both amazing.
Oh, yeah,
And
they're
then
great in singles
even as a
matches,
tag
yeah.
team, they're brothers. They've got that other connection that others may not. Then even another team that aren't brothers, FTR, they're a damn good tag team.
Yeah, they're one of the top tag teams right now, probably.
But then if you just want to go to like one of my favorite, most fun tag teams was, the New Age Outlaws.
They were great.
They
I
were
love the
great.
Age
They
Outlaws.
were awesome.
And can I say I love that Billy Gunn is having like the run of his life right
Oh,
now.
hell yeah. And
Daddy ass
he's
with
got
the
his two
Acclaimed.
sons wrestling too. That's got to be so much fun.
Yeah, you can tell, man.
He
he's
got to wrestle
loving
his
life.
sons. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I liked your answer, Cody, with the Lucha Brothers. I always say I think they're one of the top 3 greatest tag teams currently or ever, man. I'll put that, and same with the other two. I couldn't even come up with one answer for it because I keep going back and forth because
Well, I think we all said a lot of different ones.
I think.
And even the Lucha Brothers, we've seen them wrestle at house show level, and they fucking
Amazing.
performed.
Some of the greatest matches I've ever seen. But I mean, I would go with. I still think the Young Bucks are one of the greatest.
I was wondering if someone was gonna say the
Another
Bucks.
set of brothers.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
they are real brothers.
Damn,
yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, the Jacksons.
But one of
One's
the
got a
greatest,
better hairline.
one of the greatest tag teams ever. And I go with another set of brothers. I think right now, I think the Usos are incredible.
No, the Usos are really good.
The whole bloodline story that's gone on for years and whatnot, and now what they're doing now, currently with them, has just been mind blowing and amazing.
I just hope it's
They're-
the end.
I mean, it looks like it's coming to an end the way everything's going.
Yeah.
But
Didn't that dude hold the title for over like 3 years or something like that?
Roman,
Yeah.
he still got it, bro. But
I thought he lost it.
Over 1,000 days.
no, he finally got pinned. If his first loss by Jay,
It was a tag team
but
match.
it wasn't for the belt.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I go with those answers for me. Before we wrap it up, you guys got anything else you want to say, wrestling related or not?
Like what?
Whatever
Dude, I
you want,
could
bro.
talk all night. You can't throw that. You can't throw that at me. I need a prompt.
I mean,
or
is
something.
there anything else that you would like to close it up or wrap it up with?
If you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you.
My man. All right. All right. So Travis, you got anything you want to plug or shout out?
Not at the moment.
Okay. What are some of your social media accounts in case any fans want to get at you, bro?
I'm just on Facebook now.
Okay. As
Travis Lake.
okay. Something new that we have been doing with every guest. We ask them just give a quick brainstorm in your head. Somebody that you know, either personally or on your social media. Give us a name of someone that you would recommend that would be a good fit for our show.
Well,
Somebody that you know.
I mean, I have one idea, but I didn't know if that's the name you wanted me to mention.
Whatever you can, because we haven't, because we will try. But go ahead, whatever. Who do you recommend?
A guy I know who goes by Young Six, who's a rapper I work with. He has work on Spotify.
Awesome. Cody, You want to plug or shout out anything or anyone?
If I had to think about it, just thinking about having all your, we were talking about you like when people mention your artwork here on the wall. A pretty local artist I've used to commission some stuff with, and he does a lot of decent stuff. I believe his name is Ryan Brown. I'll have to double check that, but I'm not sure his Instagram off the top of my head, but he's done a lot of really awesome artwork, and like I said, I've commissioned him to draw some stuff for myself, and he's an awesome dude. Awesome guy, does a lot of the Mid-Hudson Comic-Cons, and just a real nice guy.
Awesome. What's his name again?
Ryan Brown.
Dope. What are some of your social media accounts in case anyone wants to get at you, bro?
I keep a secret, buddy. I keep a secret. I'm not here, but I am.
All right. Same question for you then. Somebody in your life or in your social media list, what have you, someone that you would recommend that you would think would be a good fit for our show?
I thought that's what I was just saying.
Oh, that's what you.
Yeah, my man Ryan.
Okay, word. I'm sorry, I thought you were plugging or shouting him out. Or
No. I thought that's get him on here.
A total package.
You can talk to him about everything he's done. He's got a lot of nice stuff. I'm sure he's had a lot of nice experiences, all his travels.
Right on. All right, Angela, you want to plug or shout out anyone or anything in particular?
Just my kids as usual.
All right. Aw. What are your social media accounts in case anyone wants to get at you?
RandomAnge78 on Instagram.
All right. And you guys can always find me at Josh_Toth3. That's my Instagram. And my Facebook is Joshua Toth. Big shout out to Stellar Sound and Media and our editor, Jackson Wallace. I want everyone to go on Apple or Spotify, wherever you get your music, and look up Y.O. and listen to the song On Me featuring Meaty Bone. It will be released today, which is the same day that the show drops. You want to listen to something that you can feel. Trust me, an absolute banger. Don't be surprised if you hear the track on the show in the future. But I want everybody who's listening to the show, come Monday morning when this episode is released, look up Y.O. On Me featuring Meaty Bone. And also a big shout out to Timber Design and Build and the whole team. If you're interested in home renovations, home improvements, additions, clean quality work, contact Chris Rawl or Jeff Wigman through Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media platform. Quick reminder to the It's All Relative fans, if you've liked what you've heard today, please subscribe to the show on whatever platform you're listening from. And Angela, where can they find us at?
So you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify for podcasters, YouTube and YouTube Music, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. And don't forget to subscribe and follow It's All Relative.
Yeah, if you're using Apple or Spotify, please leave a quick review and a 5-star rating. We'd love to hear from you. As we always mention, it helps us out and the show out, and we greatly appreciate it. But, all right, that's a wrap. Travis, Cody, thanks again.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks again, buddy.
I love talking about wrestling.
Always. All right, everyone, stay safe, stay kind, stay proud and powerful, and we'll see everyone soon. Peace.
Peace.